Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the What a Man podcast. I am your host, Tana Show, and tonight joining me is singer, songwriter, producer Charles Katlan, all the way from Shrewsbury, Louisiana. How are you, Charles?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you, number one, for reaching out to me because you wanted to be a guest on here. I really do appreciate it. Number two, before we get into our conversation, please let everybody know who is Mr. Charles Catlin.
Charles Katlan's a singer, songwriter, producer, sometimes actor. You know what I'm saying? Like you said before, I'm from Shrewsbury, Louisiana, which is like 8 minutes along the border of New Orleans. And I've been singing since I was a child, a little bitty child. Everybody on my mom's side of my family are singers, and so I'm just trying to break out into the music game. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. And again, I wanted to say thank you for agreeing to, and reaching out to want to have a conversation.
For sure.
Before we get into what you got going on, you said that you was from Louisiana and now you are in Atlanta.
That's right.
So what made you leave Louisiana and come to Atlanta?
Well, I heard this is like the mecca for like black creatives and things like that. So I just had to see for myself, and it really is.
Mhm.
I've seen my life really progress since leaving Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Like I've lived, like I said, in Shrewsbury and Kenner. That was the last place I lived before I moved. And like when I moved here and I had to go back for like my birthday, I looked around, I'm like, wow, I was really living in poverty. But you don't know because you're living there.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
so I really seen my life progressing. Like this is the most money I ever made in my life. So
Oh wow. So would you that's interesting that you bring that up because I don't know if you've ever watched any of the other episodes of the podcast, but um one of the questions that I do always ask the guests is if opportunity present itself, would they leave the comfortability that they're in of their city or wherever they're living to go somewhere else to pursue whatever it is that they need to pursue. Some of them yes, some of them no. Would you say that I know you already said that you see the progression, but in your opinion, if anybody wanted to pursue something, do you think leaving would be a good idea?
absolutely, especially if like the support system ain't there, and it's like you have to live your life on the edge based on where you are, whatever. It's like get out whatever chance you get. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like if you see a place where you possibly can progress or whatever, or it's almost like it's guaranteed that you will progress the longer the time that you spent there, leave. Cause that's what I did. Like it was no hesitation. Like I said I was gonna leave that December of what 2021. I was here in January. Like it was time to leave. Like I love my family, my people back home or whatever, but they understood. Like I told them, I called on my people like, yo, I'm about to be dipping. Like they're like, dang, you just leaving? Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm about to
Mhm.
go.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I came down to Atlanta for a couple of weeks, maybe, month or so, checked it out. Then the next go around, I brought my children. They said they liked it. And I was like, listen, if y'all want to go, like, as soon as I find a job, I'm out. And that's exactly what happened. I found the job. They called and was like, oh, we need you to start next week. And I was down here 1 week looking for a place. I found a place and I was gone. Um, so in deciding to leave, you said you left some family behind, you left some friends behind. Um, Friends are important, but not really. But your family, when you let your family know that you were leaving to pursue other things, how did they take it?
Well, it was mostly positive. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I think the
Mhm.
only one like obviously was like my mama. She was like, "You sure you won't go out there?" I'm like, "Yeah,"
Mhm.
but you know how that is with mothers. There's skepticism, and they just want you to be all right. So like I understood, but like she never was like, "Nah, just stay here." No, she was like, "Nah, if you feel like that's what you want to do, and you feel like you're gonna progress out there, and you're gonna live your life to the fullest out there, I support you." And she backed me on it. You know what I mean? So that's what it was.
It's a good thing that she supports you. But with you having her support, how do you feel about leaving?
Um, tell you the truth, I really didn't. feel no way about it. Like
Mhm.
I wasn't like distraught, like, oh man, should I leave? Like I know I'm like, I gotta get up out of here, dog, because this ain't it. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just go. I swear to God, that's what happened. Like I just woke up one morning, I'm like, man, let me go to Atlanta, dog. Let me go. Cause the first time I ever came out here, I was like, I had to been like 15. Maybe no, even younger than that. I was like 13. I was visiting my pops, my biological father. And I was looking at him like, wow, like it was like my aesthetic because I'm into nature and stuff like that. And it's like a forest state, there's trees and stuff everywhere. And he had a big old cherry blossom in front of his house or whatever. And
Mhm.
like cherry blossom, my favorite trees. So I'm like, wow, like this is really my speed. This is my aesthetic. You know what I mean? And I love the Atlanta accent, like the way they talk out here. Cause like when I first came out here, I was like, "What's down, son?" And they said, "What?" They're like, "He said, was that man? Say something again, man. Say something again." I'm like, he like, "Well, you country." I said, "I'm country."
Mhm.
But he did. So it's just fun. It's just good times all around every time I came out here. So
Do you think you would be able to convince your mom to leave?
I would hope so. My mama, she a real hometown girl. Like that's what her mom at. All her
Mm.
living relatives are still down there. I think. Yeah, she don't have no relatives that live out here except me.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
Like the only other person who live out here is my stepfather who raised me since I was 6, and my biological father. That's the only two people who stay out here besides me.
Okay.
Oh, and my uncle Chris. I'm lying. My uncle Chris stay out here too.
So how often do you so one thing for me, right? When I got here, I've been here since 20. And I don't want to go home that much. I've been, of course, some things have happened. My grandfather passed away, I had to go back. And then uh, the football season that just ended, I went back for the season opener of the Ravens game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I miss it, but when I get there, it's like, ugh, I want to go
Really?
back to.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I feel it. I feel what you're saying. I've had to go down there a few times. Like my brother was having medical trouble, so I went down there, and I went down there for my birthday. Um, so yeah, like if they call me, I'll come back down there. But like, it had to be a real conscious decision on my part to go down there when I feel like it, because like I don't even want to go back. Like I'm telling you, like I love New Orleans. It's like almost like Atlanta, but like more artsy and stuff like that. But it's a lot more like trouble out there too. And it's
Mhm,
like when I was out there, I was kind of falling victim to the trouble that was happening around there. All the gangs and stuff like that. I was out there fighting. You know,
mhm,
just taking me out of my comfort zone. I didn't like that. But funny that you mentioned the Baltimore Ravens, because you know who my cousin is?
who?
Ed Reed.
Really?
Ed
Okay.
Reed is my cousin.
One of our legends. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Ed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We love Ed Reed. Um, so one more question about your hometown and then we'll get into your music. So how do you feel about, because I'm pretty sure you've seen it, how do you feel about what 50 is doing down in Shreveport?
50.
50 Cent? You don't know no, you don't know about that?
No, I ain't never, because I'm not. That's a ways away. Shreveport's a ways away from me.
Oh, okay. So 50, he has his own. You're gonna have to look it up when we get done. He kind of pretty much did out in Shreveport what Tyler Perry did out here. So
He
he's
made his
got
own studio.
huh?
He made his own studio.
Mm-hmm. It's
Really?
G Unit Studios, and it's like, yeah, we're not gonna talk about it since you don't know, but I just taught you something.
I'm just wondering what's the connection, because he from up north, so I wonder
Well,
what's the connection to
um,
Shreveport.
according to 50, when he did the press conference about it, it was because to build up the area and um, create jobs for the people, so and kind of bring revenue into that part of Louisiana. So look that
I
up.
feel I feel like I respect that.
So let's get into your music. So you are a singer, a songwriter, producer, you said.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been doing this?
Um, it goes all the way back to like I think 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But I took a hiatus in between to like get some personal stuff out of the way. So I hadn't made music for like a long time. But like I started making music in 2015, and like it started like doing like I started to get a bit of buzz off it.
Mm-hmm.
So people was like remixing my music and stuff like that. But all that stuff, that was the SoundCloud days. I don't even post on SoundCloud no more. But yeah, it dates back all the way to then. But I've been writing songs since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I used to go on my mom's her computer and like pull up Microsoft Word or something and just be jotting down lyrics and stuff like that. And my mom would give me pointers and things like that. Like, oh yeah, this don't make no sense. Like take that out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the extent of my music career.
So why, if you want to care to discuss, why did you take the hiatus, and why did you stop doing your music?
Um, I stopped doing well. To tell you the truth, it was like a mix of like personal issues and then like living arrangements. So like I would always end up in a place where I couldn't make a lot of noise and things like that. And, you kind of have to you got to have them beats thumping when you making
Right.
music. And
Right.
I'm a singer, and I'm not to sound like a narcissist, but I'm a very skilled singer, and I can sing very loud and very
Mm-hmm.
precisely. And it's like, oh, you can't be doing that. I moved to a place where I got disrespectful neighbors or something like that, and they knocking on my door, and I'm like, dog, they're not just actually like, no, don't knock on my door, dog. Like, what's wrong with you? There's interruptions and things like that. So it's like me hopping from place to place, and then like the personal issues and stuff that was going on at the time. That's what
Mm-hmm.
caused the hiatus. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? But like a lot of the stuff that I went through, I write it down now and I'm turning it into like, my mixtape or EP, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, who are some of your musical influences? I know you gave me a few, but I just wanted to hear, let everybody else know too.
Yeah, so it's like how I view it when people say musical influences, I ask them, it's like, do you mean catalog or do you mean vocally? So catalog wise, it would have to be like, you know, Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, which I will also put in vocally. But vocally, uh Donny Hathaway, there's this guy, you ever heard of the group As Yet?
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
this guy. It's not Mark Nelson who's the lead. It's you remember the tall, dark skinned dude with the braids?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That dude got the craziest voice ever. His name Kenny Terry, and I'm like, I hope to meet him one day. It's like, yo, he should have been a star. So he's one of the guys. So I put in the vocalist. But like, as far as catalog wise, Curtis Mayfield, who just like fire, just like if I never heard a back, like he play that guitar and the stuff he
Mm-hmm.
was talking about at the time, like back in the late set, like early '70s, like it's relevant today. Is why
Mm-hmm.
I resonate with his music so much. So like that would probably be like who I look up to as far as yeah.
If anybody, and not that sometimes comparison is a bad thing, because it's cool sometimes. If anybody wanted to compare your music to anybody, who would you say that it mirrors? I'm not going to say that but who do you think your music mirrors the most?
Well, Brent Fayez. Everybody tell me that, oh, this gives me Brent vibes and things like that, and I go out my way to try not to sound it, but it's like I think like sonically we have the same ear in music because
Mhm,
when I was a kid, one of my favorite songs growing up was "So Gone" by Monica because of the harmonies, how the harmonies like tingle my ears or something. I don't know if that's some type of tism or something. I don't know.
mhm,
But
mhm,
it was like, I'm like, wow, what is this? And it's like, that's layered harmonies. And it was all her. And he does the same thing in his music. And I do the same thing in my music.
mhm,
We both, which I don't really believe in it, but we both September babies and things like that. My birthday on the 9th, his on the 19th. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So like when people they like, oh yeah, you kind of sound like Brent Fayez. That's why like when people hear me talk and they hear me sing, that's why sometimes I sing at a higher register because we got the same tone.
Mhm.
So Brent Fayez, that's like the main one.
So let's talk about R&B groups. So we have, back in the day, we have Jodeci, Boys to Men, and people of that caliber, right? So in 2024, there is it's not too much groups, um, and pretty much R&B. really isn't the same like it used to be.
Mhm.
Um, what are some of the elements you feel like is missing in today's R&B?
Just I guess like the connection between like the man and the woman. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a lot of singers nowadays are really like the are scared to express how they feel because they're like it's a stigma around like having these emotions and things like that. Oh, you a simp or something like that. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm,
think it's a phobia of like love, if that make any sense. Like I don't care. Like I'm feeling how I'm feeling. Like if I love
mhm.
you, I'm gonna say I love you on the track. You know what I mean? Like I had a girl I had met in Barnes and Noble, and I played her one of my songs. She's like, oh, it sounds good, but like you're really cheesy. And I'm like, that's how I was feeling when I wrote the song. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think that's one of like the main components, and also, I ain't trying to sound like a lot of these dudes can't sing too. So so is that too. It's the production too. Like you can hear the auto tune on a lot of their vocals. Like you get
Mhm.
like somebody like a Wanye Morris or something like that. That dude is a raw singer.
Right.
Like he a raw singer, and I think that's another element. It's like, yo, you gotta get on the vocals, dog, because I'm not feeling this. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
So that's like the elements I think are missing from today's R&B.
So I know everybody works hard in whatever they do, whether you're a singer, actor, rapper, it doesn't matter. If you want to achieve something, you're gonna work hard for your craft. So when you do something, you're confident in it, and you let somebody hear it, and they say stuff like, "Oh, it sounds good, but you're cheesy." How does that make you feel?
I don't feel no type of way about it because somebody like it.
Hmm.
Like you ever watch Friday After Next?
Hmm.
And Diddy, he talking to the landlord, like, you need to get this lined up. He's like, don't worry about it. Somebody like it. That's
Hmm.
how I feel about it. Somebody like it. And it's like, I look at the analytics and the numbers on my YouTube and my Instagram, and I have an audience for this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I like singing about love. I like expressing my emotions musically while I can't express them like, verbally or something like that.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you believe in a statement when they say pain makes great music? Because it's almost like, to me, it's almost like you okay, like on social media. For the most part, social media has its pros and cons. Um, Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. But one thing that I do have seen that's a running theme is so let's take an artist for instance. Keisha Cole.
Okay.
So supposedly she's supposed to be with Huncho now, right? So so when I seen this and I read the comments and they was like, oh well, when they break up, we're gonna get a fire out. You know what I mean? So I just want to know, like, do you think, because it's almost like you're wishing that on her. Like, I don't think that's cool.
It's
You know what I mean? So why do you feel like, why do people feel like you have to be in pain to make a fire album? Like, where does that even come from?
um well, I don't want to make a broad and like general, I don't want to make a generalization, but I feel like especially like when it comes to our people, like the main thing we experience is like pain, and like a lot of our culture is based off of overcoming things. So it's like let's take Michael Jackson for example. The
Hmm.
song "Leave Me Alone" was because like the tabloids were like making fun of him and saying all these bad rumors about him,
Right.
and he took that pain and turned it into something great. And
Hmm.
it's the same thing with like Keisha Cole. You look at her catalog. If you listen to a lot of love songs, excuse me, if you listen to a lot of love songs, it's based off like, okay, this person hurt me. It's like the only person I ever really heard like make a happy love song was Luther Vandross. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know what I mean? So I think that's like what the main aspect is. Like we that's what we come from. We come from pain and overcoming. That's what artistry. You heard an artist and watch what they create. And that's
Hmm.
basically what it is.
So do you think so let me ask in your opinion. So if there was an album and it was a happy album of love songs because this person loves me and they treat me right and they do all the stuff that the person is supposed to do. And then there's this pain album. He hurt me, he hit me, maybe he cheated on me. I don't know. Which one of the albums do you think hypothetically would have the most traction?
The album was Somebody Got Hurt.
But why? We don't want to hear about happy, healthy relationships anymore. Like,
Sometimes no, sometimes people want to see the world burn. It's like I remember when I first like got on Instagram and it was like Valentine's Day or something like that. And it was just like people just dissing Valentine's Day, just stupid and stuff like that. And
mhm,
people, it's like why you think like Adele is such like a highly this such in such high regard and her music does so well because she write a lot of breakup songs. Same thing with like artists like Sam Smith. He writes a lot of breakup music, and he even said in the interviews like I can't I can't make happy songs. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes he said I get into relationships to get broken up with so I can write a song about it. He said that in an interview.
really?
Yes, yes indeed he did. He definitely said that.
You don't think something's kind of off about that?
Of
Like,
course something's off about this. Like it's a whole like some of these people like I think the majority of people on earth need therapy. I need somebody to talk to or something like that. But it's like they just need something to resonate. So that's why they go to the sad music and stuff like that. Like people be sad or like go through something like a death or something and then go on YouTube and look up a sad song.
mm-hmm,
Like why would you do that? Because it's
mm-hmm.
like you want something to resonate. And so that's why people do that. And that's why artists do that. That's why, you know, the sad album gets more traction.
Okay, so what if, because I'm not a singer, so I don't know, so what if one day you made a sad album, a breakup album, and you was just hurt and whatever. But then later on down the road, we find out, you know what? His relationship is actually kind of happy.
Mhm.
So do you then lose the fan base, or you know what I mean? Or do people look at you like, oh, we're not listening to his stuff anymore because he be lying. Like his girlfriend not cheating on him. They married, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
That yeah. Do you lose the fan base? No. I think what happens is like you'll take the fan base off. Like Cardi B, for example, you know, she known for her like eccentric lyrics and always the club life, but then she did that song, Fragile, I think. It's like, be
Mhm,
careful of me, that song.
mhm,
And she was saying it's like I was pouring my heart out into the song and they was like my fans was like they didn't like it. You know what I mean? So
mhm.
I think basically like how you start out is like that's what the fans expect from you, and it's like if you don't cater to that, then I don't think you lose traction. You just kind of make your fan base upset. So
So because fan base is very important.
mhm.
So if there is, so let's see, how can I word this? Okay, so let's take R. Kelly for instance. For God knows how long, nobody knew R. Kelly had a wife. As far as everybody knew, he was out there,
Right,
right? Then later on, we find out he's a whole married man, which but by this time it was too late. The music was over.
mm.
So, do you feel like in order to sell records or become successful or to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, that you have to hide certain aspects of your life?
and in some regard, yes, because rappers lie all the time about the lifestyle that they live. Like you
Mhm.
get Drake talking about how he whipping up in the kitchen. It's like Drake, you was on Degrassi, bro.
Okay, wait a minute. Slow down with the Drake. Don't do
Whoa,
too much.
whoa, wait, talking about you like a huge Drake fan? No, and this the thing, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and I was telling him it's like, yo, regardless of what's going on with Drake right now, Drake is an excellent music. He's an excellent music creator. Like he
Mhm.
creates excellent music, regardless of what's happening right now. But like how you was asking me, it's like, do you feel like you have to fabricate? Yeah, like if you gonna do a song like I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, like you gonna beat somebody up. We know you don't come from that.
Well, but he do got a lot of enemies now
He
because
do, yeah, he definitely. Well, I guess he been had a lot of enemies because like
everybody been beefing with him all summer. But
that's true.
but to counter, because I will not tolerate any Drake. I won't tolerate it.
I'm not gonna be the one to slam the Drake. Like bro, I'm telling you, it's like is Kendrick one of my favorite rappers, but I'm a R&B guy, so I got more Drake on my playlist.
But we already know that Drake was on Degrassi though. We know that.
But I'm saying, so why would you go into a song saying that you whipping up in the kitchen like you cooking, like you making crack? Like, chill. All right, bro. Like I guess for a good bar, it worked. But
Hmm.
people don't believe that you did that. Drake, chill, chill. Like, come on, bro. Your name
So,
Aubrey, bro. Your name Aubrey Graham.
oh, okay. Let's switch the subject.
I am Drake. That's how
Cut
Drake
your,
talks.
cut your
I am
energy
Drake.
short.
I got nice weather we're having out here in Toronto.
Okay.
That's Drake.
So when you win, I'm not going to say, I'm going to say when you become this person that everybody's going to know, are you going to hide certain aspects of your life? So like when you become rena- everybody's going to know you,
Mhm.
and you got to get up on the stage and accept this award and thank all the people. But us, your audience, we know that you, or at least we would assume that you were single because we never seen you with a woman or nothing like that. But then you got to get up on the stage and you got to make this speech because you have to accept this award. But we can't know that you're in a relationship because you want to sell your product.
Mhm.
What are we doing?
Would I do something like that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for years we didn't know R. Kelly had a wife, and not that I can recall, because I don't want to speculate and say that it happened because I don't remember. But from what I can recall, I've never heard shout out to my wife or thank you to my wife or I just love my wife. Like I never heard, I don't recall ever hearing that. So is that one of the things that you would be willing to do to
Yeah, I would say yeah, but like, see, this is the thing. Um, I think we have to draw the line between fabrication, like what's fabrication and what's not anybody's business. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of like look at Beyonce when she was hiding the twins and things like that. And everyone, oh, show us your baby. Does she have to? Does she really have to? Did we really have to know that R. Kelly had a wife? Was it anybody's business? I feel like social media has given people access to these celebrities that like when you was a celebrity like back in the 90s or the early 2000s, you didn't have access to them because it really was none of your business.
Mhm.
So like if like how you asked me, would you? Yeah, yeah, I do that. Yeah, it's not none of y'all business who I'm with, what I'm doing and stuff like that. Like a death of a family member, like, oh, what happened? Is it any of y'all business what happened?
Mhm.
So that's yeah, I definitely would do that. But like I'm not
Since
lying to
you-
nobody, just I'm not putting it out there like that.
Right. And since you put it that way, it makes good sense. Um, so I've asked you, like I asked all my entertainers, we already know who your influences are musically, vocally. What about some of your songwriters and producers?
Oh man, I gotta put it's crazy that like I don't really like listening wise. I don't really listen to a specific genre of music. I listen to all music. So I definitely would
Mhm.
have to like Lennon McCartney, like John Lennon and Lennon McCartney from the Beatles and things like that. A lot of one artist that a lot of people don't bring up when it comes to like writing songs is Soul Child music. Like, dog, if you really like look at that catalog, hit after hit after hit after hit. But like, I'm like, how is he in nobody's top five? How is he in nobody's top? Like, I don't hear nobody bring them up. Like, you hear the usual, but it's like, how nobody don't bring up. You know what I'm saying? And another one, go back to Drake. I would put Drake in like a top five of, because it's like Drake has had quotables for the last 15 years. Quotables from 2009 to now. Quotables, and that's just like that. Just it just shows how great of a songwriter he actually is. Like they talk about this reference track thing that happened with the guy Quentin Miller when Drake was beefing with Meek Mill. Like, well, that's a reference track, and he was singing on the track. So singers have songs written for them all the time. Now, if you talking about the bars, that's different. But like, we haven't heard nobody. Oh, I wrote a rap for Drake. That was a reference track to the opening of a song where he rapped on the next part. But nobody don't seem to like bring up the details in that. People like to live in this fallacy because everybody has this rage for Drake. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
So why do you? So since you said that, before I ask my other question, why do you think that is? Because I like music, but I don't really like dig into stuff because it just seems like to me, just me, because I'm not into a lot of stuff. This beef just came out of nowhere. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was the basis of it. Like who started it. Like I don't. It just came out of nowhere, and it just seemed like once one started, and everybody started following suit. So like, was this something that y'all been wanted to do, but you just didn't know how to? So like, how does this happen?
Well, here's my I'm going off of pure intuition right now. So I feel like this has been snowballing over the years. Cause like when you look at old interviews of Drake has done some shady stuff to some people. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it just kind of get like overshadowed because his music career he has this legendary Hall of Fame music career at at such a little time that like it's kind of overshadowed. It was a thing like he was sleeping with Lil Wayne girl or something like that, and things like that. But you never know what he did to like people like Rick Ross. Apparently, what happened with him and Rick Ross is that they made a song, and then him and French Montana made a song, and French Montana is on MMG, and Drake's in a cease and desist to French Montana. And Rick Ross ain't like that or whatever. But I guess I don't know, it's some type of contractual thing to where like now is the time we're gonna go at Drake after everything that he's done over the last 15 years or not. And I don't know, because I think Drake is like he's kind of a petty guy. He came in the game. People wasn't really messing with him. He was like this gawky looking Canadian dude, biracial dude who singing all this lovey-dovey stuff. And at that time it definitely wasn't like acceptable. Like people talk about like the culture not the same that it was at what it is now. It wasn't that 10 years ago. It wasn't that 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it is. Like Drake probably did something, but I'm not, I'm not in the, so I wouldn't know. But he had to do something because everybody's just going at him. So I don't know.
So if you had the opportunity to duet with somebody, write for somebody, produce for somebody, who would that be?
Is it only one person or could it be multiple?
Oh no, it could be.
Dang. Well, one person who I would like to duet with. Well, no, one person who I would like to construct a song with is Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean is a stupendous songwriter. He's a stupendous songwriter. Produce with, it's a toss up between Timbaland and Missy Elliott. Which Missy Elliott, I don't feel like a lot of people talk about enough. Like if I see a top 10, this top 10 female, if Missy Elliott ain't on that list, I don't want. You know what I mean? As far as like doing the duet, I would probably have to choose a female, a woman, sorry. And I would say Brandy. And as far as males, I would probably pick Tevin Campbell.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right.
that's
And what is it about Tevin Campbell that
man.
you like?
That dude a monster. Vocally, that dude's a monster. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is about his register, the way he's breathing or something like that. But like, you don't get people like I'm telling you, you don't get Quincy Jones working with you while you're so little, unless you're a monster talent. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's like the same thing with Michael Jackson. It's like you don't get like how you get Quincy Jones on the track. You got Quincy Jones on the track and you 10. So that's the thing. It's like you a monster talent, and it's like people like to focus on like the other things outside of like his catalog and his work ethic and things like that to try to bring Tevin Campbell down. But Tevin Campbell is a legend,
Hmm.
definitely.
They definitely said that. That's why I smiled when you said it because I did watch Chris Brown's interview on the R&B R&B Money podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And Tevin Campbell was one of the people that he brung up for the exact same reason. Um, his vocal range. Um, so now let's talk about Rose's Room.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
So, okay, it's gonna sound kind of funny, and I think this is one of the reasons why the girl who I was telling you about like called me cheesy or whatever. But
Hmm.
I have an audience for it. So Rose's Room, that's a place in reference to the show I was watching with my friend Jebel. Um, they put me on this cartoon called because I ain't watched a lot of cartoons growing up. Like my dad had me watching gangster movies and westerns when I was growing up. So I got a lot of catching up to do when it come on like Disney movies and things like that. But
Okay.
Devil put me on this cartoon called Steven Universe. And Steven Universe, what it is like this kid and he's like half alien, half human or whatever. And like his mother died before he was born. Not
Mhm.
before he was born, like after he was born, things like that. And so like the show is just like his journey into finding out the type of person or whatever that his mother was. And one of the episodes, because the house that they live in, it's not just rooms that you can go into. It's these are rooms that like manifest and become things when you're present. And so
Mm.
he finds his mother's room and he goes in it. And when he goes in it, it's just a bunch of like pink clouds and things like that. But he noticed that every time he said something like, "Oh yeah, I want some ice cream," it would manifest. And so I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, what if you had a room that where like every time you go up in there and you thought about something, it would manifest. So I wrote the song in reference to like old relationships. It's not just particularly one person, but like the song Rose's Room is just in referencing to missing someone, regardless of who it is. And it's like what I sit here and I call your name just hoping that you would appear. So that's
Mm.
what Rose's Room is about.
Wow. No, that
Mm-hmm.
don't sound crazy at all. That sounds dope, actually. That sounds really dope. Um, so have you worked with any of the Atlanta artists? Have you featured with anybody? Have you linked up?
Not yet, but I've been in talks with a few people. Not anybody too big. Because I'm not the type of dude to like shoot for the moon. Like I like the underdogs and things like that. Like let's see what our two clashing styles can connect and make something great. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I don't go for like the big rappers or the big singers or anything like that because they have a style, and I don't want to like try to downplay what they do, but like a lot of that stuff is kind of formulaic to me. So yeah, I go for
Mhm.
like the underdogs and things like that. I'm gonna see what y'all working with, and then we could try to snowball this thing, and we all can make it big. So
Mhm. If you had a chance to mentor a group of people who wanted to do exactly what you were doing, music in all aspects, maybe writing, producing, singing, whatever the case, what were some of the key things that you would say would be important to know to be any of those in this business in 2024?
important to know. I would say I would tell them to like to find your pocket and to play to your strengths and things like that. Cause like one of my things is that like I know in reference to a lot of the music that I put out, I say write. but I don't write any music. I don't write lyrics down because it's like me personally, the whole sitting down and pen and paper, or even typing it up, is so boring to me. So I'll create a beat and I'll put it on, and like however I'm feeling, that's what I'm gonna sing. So I would tell them like, yo, like just go with the flow and do what makes you comfortable and things like that. Another word of advice I would probably give them is like, don't count on your the people who are in your immediate surroundings to support you. And that's one of the mistakes that I made. You know what I'm saying? Like I was expecting like, oh man, the whole neighborhood gonna mess with this one and nothing like that. You know, but like the environment that I come up in, they don't really rock with my kind of music and things like that. Like I've had like trap songs and stuff like that they've rocked with, but like I don't want to keep making trap music and things like that. I don't have to keep making trap R&B if that's a thing. You know what I'm saying? That's not my style. So I would tell them like, do not count on the people around you to really support you immediately. You have to find your pocket, and like I said earlier, like some may not like it, but somebody like it. Somebody does like it. If you just keep, you know, building your audience, like your audience is gonna come to you. So, and what I stopped doing is I stopped telling people, "Hey man, listen to my song, man. I dropped today. I dropped this song, man. Listen to it." You know what I'm saying? Because then I'm gonna be looking for the feedback, and if it don't come, like you tend to feel played. So don't look for that. Post your music, promote it how you gotta promote it because they have tools. There's no gatekeepers anymore. There are none. So you have all these avenues to just go out there and promote what you got to promote, and your audience will come to you. So that's like the three things I would.
So when writing music, so we talked about this earlier a little tiny bit, but another thing that I like to talk about with my guests are is mental health. Because again, I always say that it's not really talked about a lot, especially when it comes to men, because everybody is under, well, some people are under the perception that men are always supposed to be okay. Um, but what I like to advocate is that sometimes they're not okay. And I want the men to know that it's okay to say that I'm not okay. And we, as women, people, period, are supposed to wrap our arms around y'all just like we would wrap them around a female or, have you ever had any, as far as like doing, because sometimes trying to push a song and be a singer and do stuff like that, and like you said, you're not getting the feedback that you thought you was going to get from the people that you wanted to get it back from. Does that sometimes play around with your mental health? And if it does, or if it even has, how do you channel that energy to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I am who I am. I'm still going to push my stuff.
But that's basically what it is. That's what I did. Like at first, I would send my music, like I'll be promoting on Instagram or something, and I'll send it to one of my partners or whatever. I'm like, yo, you could repost that for me or whatever. And like some will do it, but some won't. And like my thing is, I'm a stickler. Like I peep everything. Like if people don't know, like yo, I'm watching everything, especially like if we're in conversation and stuff like that, and it's like I ask you, I ask you to do something like that. Especially if I've done favors for you in the past, like this should be nothing. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. If they didn't ask you, if they didn't ask you to do them a favor and you just do things like out of the kindness of your heart, they never asked you to do that, so they really don't owe you nothing. You know what I mean? And so how I like kind of coped with that is like, well, you right. And like I said before, I'm gonna find my audience. Whether I'm gonna blow past you, whether you stand with me or standing against me, I'm gonna get past you. You know what I'm saying? I don't view you as opposition just because you told me no or you didn't do something that I expected of you. But that's like the main thing. It's like you just gotta keep focused. Just keep focusing, just keep doing what you're doing or whatever. Like, even if you're not getting support from the people that you thought, like it's always gonna sit with you like, no, why they not support me or whatever. Maybe you just it's not up your alley or just something that they don't want to do. People don't have to do what they don't want to do.
Absolutely.
And so just keep on, just keep pushing. That's my thing. Just keep pushing. Like I take it to heart. Like, but it's not to the point where like, man, I hate you. I don't like you. I don't mess with you no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I peep that. So like when these awards start coming in and distractions start coming in, we eating at the dinner table, you might have to go eat at McDonald's. You might have to go settle for McDonald's, dog. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I love you, but go eat that Big Mac, dog.
So in your quest for greatness, and you were offered the opportunity to sign or be independent, um, what would be your choice?
I would be independent because what a lot of people don't understand about record deals, and it's what's like I'm so grateful for people like T Pain who put this stuff in the atmosphere. Like, yo, when you get signed, it's not like when they hear like, oh, he got signed to $100 million deal, bro. Anybody in the music industry that take $100 million deal has got to be the dumbest person on earth. Not dumb, but you got to be you got to get your lawyers involved, dog. They offering that type of money because all right, let's say LeBron James $50 million deal. That's guaranteed because he's gonna play throughout the season. If you get signed to a $50 million deal as an artist, you owe that money. So this is really a budget. Like we gonna give to to promote your album, to do producing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to get that money back basically. And that's what T Pain put me on game about. It's like, yeah, like, oh yeah, they signed me to this deal. I'm spending all this and I'm buying cars and chains. I didn't know I had to get that money back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is what they're estimating that you might make them when they put these deals out for you. And if you don't make that money back, you in debt. Period. And so
Mm-hmm.
now they have creative control over you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So if you could pick anybody in the industry to, the question, and I've asked this before. So that's been that whole, oh, however much money it was, or a meeting with Jay-Z, right? And everybody always say, oh, we want to have the meeting with Jay-Z, but Jay-Z says no, take the money.
Mm-hmm.
But let's take the money out of the equation. And you really had to sit down with somebody. And I'm gonna take Jay-Z out of the equation too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a lot more other businessmen in the game than Jay-Z. So if you had to sit at the table with somebody and take business advice as far as how you're gonna move as an artist, who would that person be?
Easy. That would be if one or the other. It would have to be either Dr. Dre or Master P because they're the type of businessmen who aren't treacherous. Like they're not gonna sign nobody to a bogus deal because they know you don't know the ins and out of the industry, and they're gonna try to drain your pockets or whatever when they sign you to this deal because they know you don't know what you're doing or whatever. No 360s, no nothing like that. And even Snoop Dogg, like when he signed to No Limit and things like that, he was like, because that was crazy. Like Snoop Dogg, one of the biggest artists in the '90s. He a West Coast guy, excuse me. He a West Coast guy. He signs to this Southern guy out of I think he's from the Calio. I think that's what Master P from. But like you signed to this Southern guy who makes some of the most terrible cover art in music history, and and so you signed to this dude, and he making sure you get all your money, and he going at the last dude who you were just signed to, which is Suge Knight. Like they was into it. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? Then you got Dr. Dre on that side, and who's like he with the same thing. Like I'm gonna make look how he took Kendrick Lamar under his wing. Like
mhm,
one of Kendrick, I think it was Good Kid, Mad City. You got a track with Dr. Dre on it. That's your second project. This is your second project. You got Dr. Dre producing and rapping on your track. So he gonna take you under your wing and make sure you get your money. Like there was a story comedian Corey Holcomb had told about
mhm,
this Beats commercial that they did. So originally how it was, Corey Hogan was in the background. They had these actors that was in the Beat commercial or whatever. But he saw the light in Corey Holcomb, like, oh, this the guy is gonna amplify my commercial. He like, hey bro, you want to come up here and say something? He like, yeah, but that's the type of dude Dr. Dre is. So that's like the main two people. That's
mhm.
probably the only two people. And I think like the third person I'll probably pick is probably Rick Ross. Because I've heard some good stuff about Rick Ross too. So
Oh, okay.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's great. I'm kind of upset with Rick Ross right now
What do you do?
because he's going after Drake. You
Oh Lord, here you go.
know. So anyway, so before we wrap up, so what where do you see yourself in the next five, let's say 5 to 10 years with your craft?
Hmm. Not to sound like a narcissist, but I feel like everybody's had this mentality, especially when you're trying to make music, is that you should feel like you're gonna be one of the most revered names in the industry at that time.
Mhm.
Um, like going back to what you asked about, like when people don't help promote or do things that like you feel like they should be doing, or you feel like I always have this saying that I play in my mind over and over again, where it's like when something like that happens, um, I have this I don't even know what to call it, but I have this feeling that it's gonna come to a point where I become undeniable.
Okay.
Period. Like even with your podcast, there's gonna be a point to where you're gonna keep doing what you're doing, and you're
Mm,
gonna become undeniable. So that's another thing that keep me going. It's like, okay, I'm not tripping all this.
mhm, mm,
You do what you want to do. I'm gonna do what I do over here, but I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna come to a point where I become undeniable, bro.
mhm,
I'm gonna
mm.
come undeniable. I peep everything, and I'm gonna become undeniable. So that's what it is.
And with that, thank you. I appreciate that because I feel the same way. Um, so let's fast forward some. So you've accomplished everything you needed to accomplish in music. You did everything you said you was going to do. You became undeniable. You did all that. So then, what does your retirement look like?
My retirement look is gonna look like me giving back to the community and back to the people. Cause like I don't think if you notice about the Malcolm X thing up here. I'm an admirer of Malcolm X, and one of his things is like he didn't believe in but having a disgusting amount of wealth without enlightenment.
Mm, mhm.
So that's what I feel like I would just be giving back to the community. Like I ain't gonna put myself in a hole, you dig, but I'm gonna be giving back. I'll be renovating. I'll be teaching things like that. Like, cause
Mhm.
especially our people, we need it.
Yeah,
So that's what I see myself doing at the end of like this whole roller coaster.
that's what's up. And thank you again for reaching out. We definitely, well, I definitely enjoyed this conversation with you. I listened to your song, definitely like it.
Thank
Um,
you.
so if anybody wanted to know what was going on with you, if they wanted to follow you, if they wanted to know if you had any upcoming projects or anything like that, how would they do that?
You can go to all of my social media. All of my social media is at Charles Katlan. Um, my website is moonovermountains.com, and it's just a basic boom 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 Spotify, iTunes, things like that. I have a mailing address right at the bottom of it too. So if you want to get in contact with me about booking and things like that, you could always hit me up on that. But other than that, just probably Instagram DMs. I'm always promote my music, things like that. I'm
Mhm.
out here.
Is what was I getting ready to ask you? Jesus, I lost my train of thought. Oh well, it'll come to me later. Anyway, I want to wrap it up. Again, like I said, thank you so much for agreeing or coming to me about doing the interview. That's what I wanted to ask you. Is the single out now? The Roses Room, is it out?
Yeah, the single is out on all platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, things like that.
Mhm.
It's on TikTok if you want, make little dances to it and stuff like that. It's on the definitely like whoever watching this, make your little edits and stuff like that to my song, you there, and I'm reposting you there.
Okay. So again, I like to say thank you that you took interest and you wanted to come and sit down and have a conversation with me. I definitely appreciate it. Um, and I will speak life into you like I do all of my guests. And congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
And you know, like I said to one other person that I interviewed, when I become undeniable, I want everybody that I started with to come back and we're gonna sit down and talk about how we're all undeniable together.
For sure. For sure. Like I'm gonna definitely I cherish stuff like this for like the rest of my life.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and like I said, congratulations on everything. Definitely gonna make sure that people hear you're single. And and I thank you again. And before we go, is there anything else you want to say? Any shout outs you want to give? Now's
Uh,
the time.
yeah, man. I want to thank I want to thank God, my father, my mother, my sister, my brothers. All I ask for is just peace. That's all I want in the world, just peace. That's it. For
And
real.
listen to Rose's room. That's all we want.
Listen to Rose's room, peace, and listen to Rose's room, which will probably bring you some type of peace. You did.
And to everybody else, of course, you know who I am. I am Ty Show. And thank you for watching this episode of the What a Man podcast. And I will see y'all next week. Bye. Hey, y'all. Thank you for watching this week's episode. Check out Rose's Room, the new single by Charles Katlan. And for more music, go to www.moonovermountains.com. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye. I stand here and say your name, wishing you were near, completely missing.